Hey guys, Afros26 here, and welcome back to Highlights of the F1 League for round number 16 of Season 5 today at the Suzuka circuit in Japan. And after our incredible display of driving last week at Malaysia, where we finished in a fantastic 6th place with a massive amount of pace and not bottling it at all, we've lost our massive lead in the championship, and Joe is now ahead of us on count back because he has more wins. So we'll be hoping to regain the championship lead here today in Japan as we start our qualifying lap now. Our pace is looking reasonable, not amazing like in Singapore, but maybe if others mess up we will be able to fight up there for the win. So hopefully that can occur. Last season we did take pole, but Joe and Luke are looking much quicker today, so I highly doubt we'll be getting pole unless he put in an absolutely incredible lap. Hasn't been bad so far as we head through towards the end of Sector 1, as we now break down into Degna 1, and we are a bit down on the Amazement's current time, but not disastrous. We can pull it back as we head through Degna 1 and 2 up towards the hairpin, the worst corner on the track and possibly the calendar. I hate that corner so much. We've negotiated it averagely as we now run down this mini straight thing towards Spoon. There's someone giving us a bit of slipstream there who then gets out the way, Jork there, so that might have helped our time as we run it through Spoon Curve now, and we've understeered a lot on the exit there over the white line, and that's going to cost us a lot of time. As you can see, our delta plummeting there. I think we lost at least 2 tenths from that, and this is not looking good for being anywhere near the Amazement or Luke, although Luke's lap time at the moment isn't that impressive. I'm sure he'll improve at the end of the session. So coming down into the Casio Triangle now, we've run a bit deep there, but it's not too bad. We're going to try and get the car turned into the second part. Over the bump there, not too much wheel spin as we head towards the line, and we're going to be second for the moment, but it's a really poor time, a 34 dead. That's 3 tenths slower than last season, and that's shown by the fact that Leopard beat us on the medium tyres there, so maybe he's considering the one stop. So it's Amazement who takes pole and gains 3 points on us there, and Luke also gaining 2 points by being second on the grid. There's the whole grid there, you can see, and Infinity only just behind us with Casey in 6th, Sam in 7th, Taylor in 8th, and Jork in 9th, also on the medium. So we're thinking maybe a one-stop could be implemented there, which is going to be interesting to see how fast that is as we now head into the race. And on the grid now, apologies for the poor quality here, that does get sorted out, so if you want to skip 20 seconds ahead because you don't like it, there you go. But yeah, the game's suggesting a 3-stop. Yep, a 3-stop, but we're not having that. We're going to do the 2-stop, and I think we'll probably use mediums at the end. I've just set hards there because the game doesn't think we can use mediums, but the game lies. So we're going to aim to do soft, hard, medium, but if anything happens like a safety car, we do have that set of hards available to us. Some people don't have the set of mediums because they went softer to give themselves 3 quality runs, so they have no mediums for this race. Also, the hards is the mandatory tyre, so you must use them. So moving on off the grid now for the formation lap, and we are leading at the moment, but as we come into the second sector, CK's managed to get ahead of us from the back of the grid, and he's trying his best to take everyone out of the formation lap by brake teching them, as you can see there. So hopefully we can survive this as we overtake him briefly there, but he's going to go back past us now into Spoon. But yeah, I wasn't feeling too bad going into this race. I knew my pace was better than qualifying shown, so hopefully we can fight with Amazement and Luke at the front, as CK's now just smashed us off there. So that's not ideal, but oh well, it's only the formation lap. And we shall now move on to the start. We have the lights coming on now. We have 2 lights, now we have 3, and it's now 5 lights. It's lights out and away we go. We've got a lag start ahead of Leopard there, so that's good news for us as we're now up into P3 there. The Amazement leads us off the grid, Luke in 2nd and myself in 3rd. There's yellow flags, so unfortunately my teammate Sam has been wiped out. The lag start's just causing massive differences in speed, and Sam's being collected there, and he's damaged his front wing, so he's going to have to head into the pits at the end of lap 1. Disastrous for him. He's had a very unlucky season, unfortunately, but oh well. We move on as we now head up towards the end of sector 1, already dropping behind Luke and Joe, which is not ideal. We've got Taylor, who's had a fantastic start from down in about 7th, I think, or maybe even 8th, who's now up into 4th, so he must have got a lag start as well, and he's got a good run off Degner too. Is he going to have a look into the hairpin? Good, the Kobayashi move? No, he doesn't. We brake later now, and Luke's having a look at Joe at the moment as we get a bit of oversteer on the exit. We managed to control it nicely. Leopard on the mediums back down into 5th after his unfortunate delayed start as we now head up towards Spoon Curve and through there. Now we've run very, very wide there, taking a very poor line, trying to carry too much speed there, and that's going to cost on the exit. Luke and Joe are gone, and Taylor's having a look. Slipstream by the manor now, as we now head down towards 130. Is he going to try up inside here? We're going to leave him the space, and indeed he's covered the line well, and a good move from the Vol there, up into P3, as we now head through the last chicane, and he's got a good exit as well, so there's not going to be anything that we can do on the exit there, and we now are down to P4 at the end of lap 1. However, skipping on to lap 2, Taylor's pace is actually really good, and he's putting us along with him as we set a purple middle sector, and he's going to have a look at Luke into the Casio triangle, but I don't think he'll be able to make that move done, and he's very slow through the chicane there, which has allowed us to catch back up, but again, poor on the exit. I don't know why we just can't get that exit nailed, as we're not going to go purple. The Amazement pulling away at the front as Taylor looks to have a look at Luke, but he couldn't get the move done. But once again, skipping on later on to lap 3, he's having a look into 130R. Side by side, they're going to slow each other up a lot, but we're just going to brake early, let them fight. This time there'll be DRS for us and Luke, I assume, because he's behind as we head off the final corner. Again, our exit is really poor compared to Luke and Taylor, but in the slipstream now, the Amazement sets the fastest lap again, which is impressive considering the softs wear quite quickly around here. But we're going to go 3 wide down towards turn 1. We have the most overspeed, but we're going to back out of it. We're going to let Luke take the line there and follow him through the first sector until the end of the lap, where we're heading down towards 130R in the slipstream, and it's going to be an opportunity for us maybe into the Casio triangle. Taylor's having a look. We're going to have a half-assed look up the inside of Luke, and he's turned in there, and there's contact. Taylor's hit us as we spun round. We managed to get it spun back round, but that is very unfortunate. We've lost, I'd say, 5-6 seconds from that. Not really Luke's fault. My move up his inside wasn't really any attempt at overtaking, more an attempt of making sure Taylor's not alongside, and it's cost us dearly there as we've dropped back down to 5th. Meanwhile, at the end of lap 5, Luke comes in for a pit stop and a controller battery change as well, I believe, as his run out midway through the race, so he's going to have to pause it for a lap or so. We've taken our tyres 1 lap longer for once, which is surprising, as we're usually quite bad on the tyres. But heading into the pits at the end of lap 6 then, for a set of hards. Casey's disconnected, so we're going to invite him back about now, and we're going to head down the pit lane towards our pit box, and we're going to come out right at the back of the field really, and we've got a semi-decent pit stop from Haas, but we're down in 9th, make that 10th as Luke goes past. There's some more people in the pit lane now. Little Imp, who I believe is new for this race, it's a while since this race happened, and we're now going to get out of the pit lane and into turn number 2, and we're down in 10th, and it's not quite a net position, but lots of people are on the one stop, so we're going to have to fight back quite a lot. Meanwhile, Luke has now changed his controller batteries, but we're now in DRS, but he's lagged back into us there on lap 9, and it's disastrous. We've got front wing damage there. Luke, pace wasn't great after he changed his batteries, and we managed to stick with him, but that's all over now. Look how much he's gaining already just in the first sector after we got damage to our wing. And Luke, I can confirm, does have minor wing damage, but it's not bad enough that the team will change it, so it won't be affecting him too much, whereas ours is quite bad damage. And as you can see, skipping to the end of that line, look at the time we've lost. The gap is ridiculous. I think it's like 3 seconds there as Jack Sparrow was in the pit lane, so we now move up into 9th, but all these people are going to be coming back past us. We run very wide at turn 1, and we've got a penalty for that, which is one of the most ridiculous penalties I think I've ever seen, as we now skip on to lap number 11. But yeah, that penalty was something quite ridiculous. It would get removed, but we did get another warning after it, so there's no point arguing for that. Meanwhile, Hamilton fan's blown up. He's got a puncture after trying to take the mediums. 11 laps there. I suspect it wasn't quite at like 100%, but unfortunate for him. And we're now up into P8, but skipping on to lap 12, Jack Sparrow has caught up for us on the hard tyres, which he put on a couple of laps ago. Joe sets the fastest lap of the race, but at this point I'm thinking my wing's damaged. I'm not going to be able to fight him, so we're not going to lose any more time than necessary as there's more cars in the pits, Grumpy Line pits ahead, so we're just going to get out of the way there. I don't think Jack quite realised what we were doing and almost ran into the back of us, but Lion and CK have come into the pits, as well as Jaw, because he's going side by side with Jack. Jack runs wide at turn 1, but we're not going to get involved. So we're up into P7, despite losing a place on track, but Jack's run away at this point along with Jork, and we're now going to head into the pit lane. And in the lap 14, we've decided to change it up and do a second hard stint and take them 13 laps to the end, because the wing damage was just costing us too much time for it to be sustainable to stay out any longer. So I pitted at the earliest possible opportunity that I believe I had. And just looking at the race director there, the Amazement actually has 4 warnings, but some of those are for collisions with Tucson, I believe, and stuff. So that's not ideal, but he is 1 warning away from a penalty. So as well, so we've obviously got a penalty, but I do think most people will get a penalty in this race, so it shouldn't affect us too much. I wouldn't have thought, but we are now down in 11th place as we head out the pits, and that is very poor, to be honest. But oh well, we'll go with it. We'll see what we can salvage in this final stint. We will get an undercut, but at the end we might have to look after our tyres. Meanwhile, on the next lap, Little Imp and Sam are into the pits, so we're up into 9th, which is fantastic. But I'm hoping to gain more places. Meanwhile, Jack Sparr's come into the pits after a misunderstanding with his pit crew or something. I believe he didn't have the correct tyre selection. So we're now up to 8th, which is still pretty terrible. But on lap 22, coming into the final chicane, there's a yellow flag. Taylor's gone into the pits, but no, he hasn't. He's managed to crash into the pit lane somehow, and he's lost his wheel there. So that's going to be another position for us. We're up into P7 there. Very unfortunate for Taylor, who's just made a mistake there, but we would have been ahead of him anyway because he was making a pit stop. But we have got a virtual safety car for that. Shame it's not a full safety car, and we're going to have to just roll with the virtual. Line is way too far up the road as the virtual safety car is now. Oh my god, cut, edit. I apologise that I've made you see that corner cut at Degner there. But yeah, nothing happened for the rest of the race. Line was too far up the road, and there was nothing we could do. So we're going to finish in 7th here. Congrats to Leopard winning in only his 2nd race in the league as we come across the line, smash it into the wall, and we've lost another heap of time in the championship. Obviously, Joe did not win the race, but he did finish on the podium in 3rd, I believe, with Leopard taking the win ahead of Jork. Joe in 3rd, CK in 4th. Good result for Renault, helping their constructors bid, because Casey DNF'd after his AI car decided to crash him out of the race, which is always good. CK 4th, as I mentioned, with Luke managing to fight back to 5th. Line in 6th, and myself in 7th, with Sam also getting very minimal points for the Haas team. So it's not been ideal for us this week, and our championship hopes have taken another massive hit for the 2nd week in a row. But hopefully we can fight back in the next race, which is America. So I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.